Hello, welcome to the SAT 2 introduction video. This is the second part of the video. We're going to answer the questions, why do we take the SAT? Okay, so the reason we take the SAT is because it's standardized. What does standardized mean? For example, let's say you have student A and student B. Student A goes to a really small school. Small school with a class size of around 40 people. And student B goes to a big school with a class size of 500 people. Student A does music, that's their extracurricular activity, and they do singing. Student B is in the debate club. Oops, sorry. And of course, I think you know by now that, well, I'll go over it later too. But to get into college, there's a bunch of things that you need to do. So you need extracurriculars. Sorry, my spelling's not the greatest. You need extracurriculars. You need, obviously, your GPA. You need recs, recommendations. Recommendations from your teachers. And you also need, this little graph, I'm going to move it actually way down. I'll move it to the side for now. Okay, so aside from extracurricular GPA recommendations, you also need to write your essay. So going back to student A and B, we're comparing them. And how do we compare them? Let's say that student A has a GPA of 3.2, student B also has a GPA of 3.2, but they go to much different types of schools. This is a small school with only 40 people, let's say in New York. And let's say this is a really large school in, I don't know, Florida. Okay. And let's say they get 2 recommendations that are pretty good, 2 recommendations, and their essays. This one is actually about singing. And student B writes about their cat. Okay, great. So the way we compare them is we have no way of comparing them right now. They're pretty much apples to oranges if you look at this, if you look at their statuses right now. But standardized means that it's the same for everyone who takes it. And the SAT is a standardized test. So the way we can compare student A and B is by looking at their SAT scores. So let's say student A gets an SAT score of 1200 and student B gets an SAT score of 1600. We can see that even though they have the same GPA, their SAT scores are much different. This is how you can tell that this school might be less competitive than this school right here in Florida. Okay. That's a little bit about... actually, I want to go over a little bit more in detail about colleges. Alright. So, let's go over this again. What do we need for colleges? College admissions. GPA, that's the most important thing. SAT. GPA is out of 4. So the highest you can get is a 4.0. If your school doesn't have a system that's in that, like let's say you have a 4.3 GPA. Well, they're going to, but you don't know how much that 4.3 is out of. Maybe it's a 4.3 out of 5. Maybe it's a 4.3 out of 4.4. Don't worry, they're going to convert your GPA into something from 4. So a 4.0, that means pretty much all A's. Okay. And so admissions, you need GPA, you need your SAT scores. Again, you need recommendations from 2 teachers. 2 teachers. At least. You can get extra recommendations from, let's say, your music coach or your track coach or football coach if you do football. Okay. GPA, SAT recommendations. You also need a essay. Why I want to go to college essay. College. Finally, you need your extracurriculars. As we mentioned before, whether you do tennis or you're in the environmental club, that's all good. Extracurriculars are fantastic. Volunteering is a really good example. And if you don't have too many extracurriculars, don't worry. You can start some, or you can try to think of stuff that you do outside of school. It doesn't have to be anything like school-related club. Okay. So, let's highlight the difference between different types of colleges. So I'm going to erase this little spot. Okay. So there are large universities and small colleges. And the difference between university and college is that traditionally universities also have a graduate program. College is just for undergrad. So this is undergrad plus graduate. Graduate school is school you go to right after you get a bachelor's degree in college. But yeah, okay, I'm gonna delete that for a little bit. So, large universities. Let's say you want to go into a large university. Large university, one class may have 5,000 people. Small colleges, maybe one class would have 200. That's a very small college. Like 700 people. Okay. So if this many people there are this many people in their freshman years, how many people apply? Well, large universities, such as a lot of the large California schools, the state schools like University of Colorado, University of Virginia, they may have up to 20,000 applicants. While smaller colleges may have only maybe 2,000 applicants. So you know that large universities are going to focus on your GPA and your SAT score more because they're just numbers. They don't have enough time to sort through the 20,000 applicant profiles. So for these large universities, your essays and recommendations, they're not going to be worth as much. But for small colleges, they really want to get to know the individual you, so they don't look at GPA and SAT as much. You're basically, for them, you're not just another number to compare to. They look at your essays and recommendations and extracurricular much more than do large universities. Okay, good. I hope that made some sense. Alright, one more thing that I want to do. Oh, actually, we ran out of time, so I'll see you in the next video.